Good morning guys, how are we getting on? We all good? So welcome back to Load Carp. This morning we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to show you how to set up a basic feeder, how to set up a basic feeder setup. So I'm going to show you what I use on the bank and how really you can make it as cheap as possible. I'm going to run through my setup, my rods, my reels, what I use on the Method Feeder, how I set it up, and basically everything when I get on the bank. So let's get into the video and we'll crack on then, shall we? Right then guys, let's get set up then, shall we? So first of all, when I get on the bank, you need to get your pellets set up. I use probably 2mm pellets. You can buy these from most places, if I'm going to be honest. Angling Direct is where I normally go to get my pellets. I probably give them in the pellet wetter, probably, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes soaking. But you need to get them done on the bank, probably, I don't know, give them a good 20 minutes to be ready, because the last thing you want, the last one thing you do want is a good body and how they hold themselves together, and they need to break down as well. So the last thing you don't want is putting dry pellets on the Method Feeder and they just fall off. It's just not worth it. So yeah, first thing you do when you get on the bank, guys, is to get your pellets soaked and get on it. But yeah, that is the pellet. So next thing we're going to do is move on to probably the Method Feeder itself, and what I particularly use. Just trying to find one now so I can show you. So this is the Preston flat Method Feeder. It comes in different sizes. It comes in small, large and extra large. Obviously the size of them changes obviously with the weight changes with the size. So standard you're looking at about 15 grams. Large you're looking between 15 and 30 to 45, I think it is. And you get large, which are like 60 and 80 gram, and it goes up and up and up anyway. But yeah, I normally use like I said, I use the large ones or just the medium ones. It depends on which sort of venue I'm looking at. But yeah, they're the Preston version. You can get different types of Method Feeders. Obviously the Guru ones are pretty decent. I think I started off with them, like the hybrid ones, and you know, it's finding what works for you, if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, they're the Preston ones, and I think they've been good to me anyway. What you also might need as well for putting on your wafters, which is these little things. I'll come back to them in a minute. But yeah, if you struggle with your fingers and you've got arthritis or you've got poor eyesight, things like that, these Preston grips are quite decent. So basically what you can do to get your wafter on the band, you can use the Preston grip itself by pressing and putting it on. I'll show you in a couple of minutes how they actually work. Do you know what? I'll show you now while I'm doing it. But I'm going to need a hook. Yeah, here we go. I'll use this hook. So if we get a hook out of here, hook them. You can probably see on here that it's got a little rubber band. Yeah, a little hook. So we'll get one of our wafters, which is to be honest, you can use different types of wafters, if I'm perfectly honest. It just depends on what you like to use. Different companies do different sizes. They range from 6mm upwards. This one is the 10mm, which I do like on this particular venue. I normally would band these on just using my finger, but what I'm going to do today, just to show you, if, like I said, if you're struggling with putting them on, this little tool, the adapter, does wonders. It basically separates the band. You can just pull it over, and there you go. Hooks on the length, quite nice and tidy, and away you go. So yeah, that's how you put the wafter on. And we'll get that set up on the rod today, and we'll cast out, hopefully land a fish or two. Like I said, this video is more for you guys to, keeping the cost down, what you're looking at spending. I'll put links on the description of all the items I've used and prices as well. But yeah, it's really just looking around and finding what you can find and just keeping the cost down, because at the end of the day, we all want it to be as cheap as possible. But yeah, right, let's crack on, and I'll show you the setup of my rod. Right then guys, let's get set up. So this is my Guru rod. I've got covers on them. You can buy these as well off probably Amazon or eBay. They are very cheap, should we say, but they really do look after your rods. Last thing you want to be doing is going out and spending lots of money on your rods and then having to replace it because it's been damaged, one, in transit, or two, you're just throwing them about, and it's good to actually have some covers on it to actually protect it. And I think this rod, I spent probably, I don't know, probably £100 or so when I first got it, but you don't have to spend hundreds of pounds on decent rods. It all does the same at the end of the day. Yeah, you can keep the cost down by buying cheaper rods. I mean, it's all down to what you want to spend at the end of the day, but like I keep saying, it's keeping the cost down, isn't it? So you want to keep the cost down. So I've actually put on my rods as well, and you've probably seen on previous videos, I've actually got a reel that I'm really, really excited about. It's the Lidl feeder reel. Bought this probably, I think it was under 30 quid, it was about £15 it was, I think it was. Yeah, it was about £15, because Lidl do deals on fishing equipment once a year, and yeah, one of the best things I bought. The action on it is brilliant, and it's all about keeping the cost down. I mean, I've got other reels that I use, the Shimano ones I use quite frequently, and they're brilliant. They cost me probably about £70 when I first got into angling, and you really, really don't need to spend silly amounts of money on your reels and rods. At the end of the day, if it can catch a fish, that's all you really need it for. So yeah, try and keep the cost down where you can, guys. If you can afford to spend it, spend it. If not, you don't have to. But yeah, this is just a bit of an idea of what I use in the bank, and it's all about enjoying yourself. So let's get this rod threaded up, and then I'll show you how I put on the method feeder before I put some bait on it and we cast it out. Right then, let's get a method feeder set up. So like I said before, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need some hook lengths, you're going to need your method feeder, and you're going to need some wafters as well. So we'll get all that set up, and also you're going to need some hook beads. Hook beads are basically the part where you connect your hook to your line through your method feeder, but I'll give you a bit of a shot of what they look like. These are the hook beads, quick change beads by Corum. These are the ones I use anyway. You're going to only need one of these per rod, or one per method feeder. If I can actually open the packet, because they're quite tight, and one of them will do. You'll find these will last quite a long time anyway. They're not that expensive, but they last a lifetime. So let's get the method feeder out of his packet. So like I said, I normally I tend to keep a couple of these on the bank with me. The reason being is sometimes you can cast out and get snagged up and you lose your line. this thing does happen to all of us. You can't be the perfect angler where you get your tackle back all the time, but yeah, all you need to do is feed your line through the actual method feeder itself, so it's there, so it's free running. And then what we do, we get the hook bead that we need is just going to put that somewhere so I don't lose it. There's the hook bead. So you probably might, if you're got poor eyesight or struggling with arthritis, things like that, you might need either glasses or somebody to do it for you. But yeah, that basically goes through the first part, and then the second part is the fiddliest most part, is where I struggle because my eyes are terrible. You run that through there, you give it a once over, and then the second time over just to give it a bit more, a stronger knot, lick your Yorkshire knot, and then just pull it tight, and that's that done. You will need a pair of scissors. I'm sure we've all got a pair of scissors on, around in your house, just to take off that loose bit there of line, and then all that does, that pulls into there like that. So we'll excuse the noises going past. Unfortunately, I didn't realise there was going to be so many sirens going past. I thought I'd come to a fishery which might be a bit quieter, but yeah, you just put the hook over there with a pre-made rig, because we've got that already set up from before, as I was showing you. The bolt rig is on here, the hook bead is on, the line's going through the method feeder, and that is the nice way of actually setting it up. Like I said, you'll need a few things like your grip thing, to put your wafter on. You'll need your wafters, and then your hooks, but mainly you will need pellets. So when I drop that pellet in here, put them in the mould and get this cast out. There you go, nice and put in, nicely presented, ready to rock and roll. So let's cast this out and get a fish. Right then, we'll get this cast out, probably near the reeds over here, and then we're ready to rock and roll. We've got 2 rods out. And we're ready to go. Always good to remember to sink your line, guys. So let's have a talk about the setup and what you'll need on the bank for an easy, cheap session. So this is my chair. You can buy chairs from most places, places like B&M. I think you can get one for probably about £10 or cheaper, or use some old camping chairs. It doesn't have to be costly. Even my chair was from Angling Direct. I think it was about was it about £30? Yeah, it was about £30 in a Black Friday sale. So it's always good to keep your eyes out for what you're looking at. This is my cradle I use when I'm on the bank for when I'm landing the fish, and I like to have a cradle that I can actually have a controlled area where the fish doesn't jump out, or I can basically look after it and make sure that I'm giving it the best care that's possible. You don't actually have to spend something as much as this type of cradle. I mean, this cradle is probably about £40–50, but it's ideal for what I use and different types of situations. But you can actually get different types of ones. I mean, this is one I started off with, which was a Corda one. It's quite easy, comes in a nice little zipped up container, so you can zip up, put it away, but that wasn't massively expensive. I think it was probably about, I don't know, £20, £30, but you can use much cheaper alternatives. It just depends on what you want to spend at the end of the day, but keeping it cheap is always a good thing. So let's talk about the landing net. you really need to make sure you're ready on the bank even before you set up. The first thing I normally do is get my net out and make sure that, you know, when that fish finally hits, or land, or catch a fish, we say, you know, my net is ready to hand. There's no point having it too far away, because the last thing you want to be doing is messing around on the bank. So get it set up, guys. This one I bought from Angling Directs when I first started fishing. It's about 40 centimetres in width, and I think it's ideal for most venues, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. I mean, you can go for bigger nets if you're carp fishing for bigger carp, should we say, but just for landing any silvers or roach, rudd, whatever you're looking to catch, or even carp, should we say, because I do use it for carp. You know, as long as it's not over 2 to 3 pounds, these will be ideal. But, you know, to start off with, it's a bonus. What I would say though, guys, is make sure you get yourself a decent pole for your landing net. The reason I say that is I remember when I first started, I went out and I bought myself a nice and cheap eBay landing net, and I hooked into a really nice carp. And unfortunately it snapped in half when I landed it, and it didn't, well, it ended my fishing experience that day, let's say, because I couldn't really carry on. But yeah, make sure you're looking at certain nets and using the right ones for certain things. But yeah, this net really is perfect really for the venue I'm at today, and hopefully I can put it to some use. But yeah, be careful what you're ordering, guys. You don't have to spend massive amounts of money, but make sure you get a decent net. Right then, let's have a look at my rod pod. You don't actually have to have a rod pod, guys. You can actually have bank sticks and you know, just feeder rests. But yeah, this is my rod pod. Like I said, you really don't have to have one like mine. I have bite alarms on for when I'm filming. You really don't need to purchase bite alarms, but if you wanted to get some, you can get some for cheap. I think many different styles are out there. You can pick up from next to nothing. I mean, I think I started off with some NGT ones. They were absolutely brilliant. They weren't massive costs. I think they're probably, I don't know, £20, £30 top end. But yeah, you really don't need to purchase them straight off the bat. You're probably better off with I don't know, a bank stick and just some rests to put them on. What I would suggest, if you are fishing on the bank for carp, I would probably recommend getting some of these. These are Preston rod grips. They are absolutely perfect. So when you're putting your rod in here, as you can see, it's quite tightly gripped. And if you do have a savage take, you're not going to lose your line. Sorry, lose your rod, should we say. But yeah, that is me standard setup. Like I said, you don't have to go mad spending money, and you could just have just a normal bank sticks for your rod. You can probably pick them up from Temu or eBay for cheap as well, so it's always good to keep your eyes out. Right guys, the only thing I would suggest that you probably need to purchase, and it's probably one of the few things that I didn't do when I started fishing, is making sure that you're wrapped up. As you're coming into the winter months, you need to make sure you're warm. So get yourself a fleece or a coat, something that'll keep you warm, like a gilet or something like that. But the main thing that I never bought was pants that were like kind of waterproof. Get yourself some really warm, thick, waterproof pants. You can buy them, like I said, off most places. I think I got mine off Amazon. I think they're probably about 20-30 quid, but to be honest, I know they're probably a bit of money to spend, but it's one of the best things I bought. Keeping warm on the bank is a must. I mean, there's nothing worse than fishing and being cold, because the only thing you're thinking about is going home. Getting wet and cold is not ideal, especially when you're fishing. So if you haven't, guys, get yourself some really warm pants to wear, or some warm clothes. Like I said, gloves. Keeping warm is imperative. So yeah, that is pretty much what you need on the bank, I think. So I'm going to leave it there, and if we get a carp, we get a carp. If we don't, we don't. So we'll see how we fare. Right then, guys, I am gonna carry on fishing now. Like I said, it was me out on the bank just to show you how to set up your rods and be prepared for the day. So yeah, that is the basic feeder setup. That is what I use. and you can buy most parts cheap. So have a look around eBay, Temu, wherever you can find it, and buy the basics and start building up from there. Like I said, fishing's a long journey. You don't start off with everything straight off the bat. You have to work at it and get bits and pieces. But yeah, that is the basics. That's how I set up, and I'm going to crack on now and hopefully land a fish. So if I don't see you, I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, guys. Look after yourself. Well, I'm on. I wasn't expecting to be on. I was going to pack up because I'm going to pack up and go home because I was only coming out to shoot the basics feeder rod. But we'll take that. We'll have a carp. I'll have a carp anyway. Gotta love an action on the rod. Love a good bend. That's like a nice little mirror. Like I said before, guys, make sure your net is near you because you need it. He's not ready to come in yet. Right then, guys, was just about to pack up and go home and the feeder rod shut off. So I probably got that's a lovely little mirror. Probably say about, I don't know, £4-5 if that. But thank you for joining us, buddy. We're getting back in the water. I'm happy with him. Lovely. See, it shows perseverance, coming out, just having an hour, showing people how to do the job or how to fish. And job's a good one. Right, let's get him back in. There he goes. Happy days. Right then, back up time.